Hello there and welcome back to Japan. Yeah, welcome to the new cardboard palace. See, I got the cardboard here and everything. There is cardboard here. Room's quite small, but actually quite nice. Good air conditioning, good area. You know, I've got plenty of facilities here. There's more than enough stuff I need, like recording and everything like that. Yeah, so basically, things are looking very good for our new location. So who's going to be first? Who's going to jump in with the first comment? I don't know. This is our new location anyway, so I'm going to start filming from here. This is probably where we're going to be based um, from the beginning of November onwards. I'm going to have a lot of updated equipment as well, so hopefully picture quality and everything will be improved. This is just my first broadcast, so I can show you guys what it is, what this place is, what's going on, and should have some fun with that. So anyway, who's going to be the first person in? First person in. Let's see. Who's first? Who's first? Who's first? There's no one here. I thought I'd do this one a little bit earlier because it might appeal to Lejeune in New Zealand, because I know he has trouble catching up with some of our timings, so maybe it'll appeal to him. But who is going to be first, we don't know. The main thing is, like I say, this is my chance to share the new location and the updates, this week's updates, in the Saturday live stream, as I mentioned to you guys before, but this is going to be the Thursday one. I mean, I might do Saturday if I'm lucky, but I try to keep it to one live stream per week. So, do we have anyone yet? Do we have anyone there? I can see some people starting to filter into the room. Welcome to the new cardboard palace. This is a small demonstration of some of the cardboard that we have. There is more cardboard. There is cardboard everywhere. Yeah. Just enough cardboard behind me so that you guys actually believe this is somewhere where I would live. I don't know why, but it seems to be the signature thing of this channel now. So, apologies. There's been a really slow turnover on the videos. Obviously, not many videos coming out recently again. But I'm not too surprised. Like over the October period, it's going to be difficult again to catch up. November, when we move into this place permanently, there'll be like some real improvements on how quickly we can start turning over the videos and really get on top of things as well. Better internet connection, better equipment. But I do have some more videos in the pipeline that are waiting to come out. I mean, today I had to spend a lot of hours on the bus. Hey, Fernando, good morning from Montreal. Hey, hey. Yeah, it's always amazing to hear what time it is for everyone else. But good morning to you as well, mate. And as always, you've been leaving some really interesting comments on the video, so I'm definitely going to be getting back to some of them. But yeah, this is the new cardboard palace, as we were saying. And yeah, I mean, once again, to reiterate, the videos are going to be coming a little bit slower this month. We're going to be catching back up in a rather significant way in November. Better equipment and everything's going to be available, and so really catching up on a lot of the videos. There's a lot of content I want to do, and I guess in a way it's just a case of I've got priorities wise. I have to focus on a lot of the infrastructure of the channel this month. But yeah, I'm positive there'll still be quite a good number of videos. Should be at least a video a day for a while. Zimp, hello mate, how are you doing as well? Welcome back. Yeah, I wanted to give a little I was going to wait till there's more people in here, but as we was discussing on the Reddit a couple of days ago, I wanted to give a big thank out to a few, shout out and thanks to a few people, Zimp being one of them, for the fact that there's been a lot of work going on the Reddit to keep that going. Reddit is a format, a platform that I can't say I particularly have any expertise or knowledge of, so it's been really great to have you guys helping run that fantastically. In your case, it's probably good evening. Let's just check the time. It's definitely evening, but yes, 10 p.m., 10 o'clock at night. So if you're, well, it depends on where you are. Oh, Montreal, isn't it? So you're in Montreal in Canada. So that would make you 8 hours behind GMT. So 16 hours, 17 hours behind here. I'm guessing, therefore, that it is 7 o'clock in the morning for Fernando. He's going to tell me I'm wrong in a minute, but that's my guess. I'm guessing 7 o'clock in the morning, just off the top of my head. So either way, if you've woken up in the morning, then thank you very much, and my appreciation to you. So yeah, here's the cardboard. Anyway, something weird was in here. So I turned up, and all of my stuff had been moved to the new location as I hoped. Now, you guys might remember 9 a.m. I was 2 hours out. That's not too great. You guys might remember that when I was in the last Cardboard Palace, I don't know how many of you saw, but I did that video when I was. Oh, here we go. Good morning from Alberta, Canada. I am back from Metal Matsuri. It was the most epic thing ever. Hey, that's great. We've got two voices of Canada. This is a primarily Canadian stream now. Wow, look at that. So yeah, I heard that a lot of people said it was really, really awesome. I couldn't make it to Metal Matsuri, says James. I was trading at my local cinema for opening weekend of Joker. Yeah, there was a few bands there that were quite interesting. I can't say there was anything that I was like a massive fan of, but I know there was a lot of bands who have like good sort of close followings. Like, I guess the real quality of these things is that them catching on with people who otherwise wouldn't hear the artists. So anyway, yeah, where was I going with this? Afternoon, or hey CMC. So I was here and I was just unpacking all my boxes. And you know when you move and you suddenly realise there's things in there and you think, didn't remember I had that. So here's one of the things that I found when I was unpacking. I don't know if you guys know Gudetama. Yes, there you go. You are being spoken to by the small angry egg that is Gudetama. It's got like a little Gudetama chain thing that came out of Gashapon a few years ago, and I use it very, very sparingly so as not to run out the tiny battery in the back, which is seemingly replaceable if I have a screwdriver. But yeah, there you go. I don't know why, I just really like that, so I've kept it. Lipsticks seem to cause a stir. I don't really know anything about them, so good for them. Is that a band I should check out? If it's a band I should check out, and guys, let me know. So yeah, Lipstick were a big surprise. They sold me. I wasn't so thrilled from what I saw on YouTube. I know I'm a big fan of recorded artists. I do believe that any artist can make. If you've got a good enough live artist, anyone can make bad music look good live. So I always find it hard to be sold on an artist from the live performance alone. You really need to see the whole thing. Anyway, so you guys may... Oh yeah, Mary's Blood still coming up. Apologies about the delays on that. You guys may remember that when I checked out of the last Cardboard Palace, I did the video where we were leaving, and you might remember that in front of the air conditioning thing, there was this banner that had been hanging there from before I had turned up. And I was kind of always a little bit questioning to ask why there was basically hentai in the back of the office hanging in front of the air conditioning control. And it was explained to me that it was like as part of because the office was used for trading, and they put this like hentai stuff that had been ordered, but then only half of it got picked up for shipment and the other half got cancelled. So they were just left with these boxes and boxes of hentai. And so just for a laugh, they started hanging some of it up. So anyway, this was something that I had commented on to the owner of the office. And I'd sort of mentioned to him, this is kind of amusing because it's now on my side. Every time I use the air conditioning, I have to reach behind some hentai, which was kind of an amusing call. Anyway, so... And I showed that in the video when we were leaving the Cardboard Palace 1. Anyway, I turned up at Cardboard Palace 2 and I got all my boxes. And in amongst my boxes is this. And I was told, hey, it's a present for you. So I don't know what to expect, but I'm going to open it here. All I can tell is that seems to be a bit of an anime thing going on here. So I don't know. I'm frightened this could be something disturbing, but we're gonna find out together. Have I basically just been given hentai, which would be a very disturbing housewarming present. Housewarming, have some hentai. Let's see. At least it's nice to know that the people who I'm living with have a sense of humor. Okay. What do we have here? Yeah, I think that says it all. And she has a hose that appears to be, I'm hoping that's water. So that is my housewarming gift. I don't know what to say about that, but at least I'll feel at home, I guess. After the last place, that's going to make Cardboard Palace 2 feel a lot more comfortable. In a way, that one's pleasantly not quite as disturbing as the first one. That one's just saucy rather than a little bit dirt, which the other one was. So, hose for my hose. Yes, well said, James. Sugar for my honey. Yeah, I get it now. That's a nice little present. I will make sure to that's safe enough that I can occasionally hang that up in the back of videos. Put it up on the wall behind you. Yeah, it's first impressions, isn't it? You know, if everyone who tunes into the channel for the very first time sees me in front of hentai, there might be this feeling that I'm gonna have to start explaining myself in every video, or maybe not. But you know, gotta try and keep the clientele of a relatively non-perverse nature. I'll keep it sort of in the background, so if I ever do any videos where I turn to the other wall, then you guys will suddenly see it. Oh, that's weird. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm presenting through a tube. Hello. Okay, so it's not that perverse that she's just doing her gardening. Well, okay, James, I'm going to be honest with you. I know that you don't have a garden, but I'm kind of happy you don't have a garden because I have this fear of seeing James in the garden like that. I mean, so the idea of James in a unbuttoned wet shirt winking whilst holding a hose between his legs. You know, James, not everyone does the gardening like you do, sir. So maybe she's gardening, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe she has some darker motive behind why she would be throwing water at us. Oh, well, God, CMC's replied with a lot. This is going to be interesting. Nonsense. You should go for the clicks with topless reactions as you dissect the song. You remove a piece of clothing until down to the wife beater, which comes off with the big flourish. Pretty bad when even the thought, even me thinking about that makes me go, eh. I hope that hose doesn't have a kink in it. It's a very short skirt. Very short skirt. A very short skirt. Scary. I wouldn't use the word scary so much, but shall we say, commercially inviolable. Sex sells, but doesn't really sell reviews. Sexy reviews. That poster is for the wall and for occasionally have the camera pan past it and it just no comment. No one says why. Oh, it pans past. Oh, what was that? It's gone. Because no one saw the other poster that was in the banner that was in the other place until the day that we checked out. Not quite hentai levels. It's very no. It's not it's not hentai, but I'm pretty sure it came from that box. James in a short skirt, that is scary. I am inclined to agree. I hope that James does very carefully heed our gardening tips. CMC, but an indie band on a limited budget with limited time and no real knowledge of the studio, is it then fair to judge them on recorded music or on live where they have used the truth? No, absolutely, 100%. It's fair to it's totally fair to judge them on recorded music. Because the thing is that, okay, I mean, maybe we could argue that business smarts comes into this. But if you are a particularly poor band, then your reason for recording becomes very different in that you're not so much recording like an album, but you're recording the sharpest demo you can. Now, therefore, when quality becomes less of an issue, and what becomes an issue is the musicianship. So you spend a lot of time practicing at home or in the garage, or you don't record in a studio, you record in like a home setup or something like that. A band can either get a lot of creative extra out of what they do, or they can but let's put it this way: we are talking about bands on with record companies here. And if a band has a record company, I really hate when people use this excuse about time in the recording studio costing money, because that's total. I'm just going to say it's total horseshit. In Tokyo, you can get an entire band into a studio for about 2,000 yen an hour, which is about $20 US. If you're on a record company, that's ridiculous. You could pay for basically, you could blanket the entire week, 24/7. Even a small record company would be able to cover those kinds of costs for a record. So this whole thing about bands not having enough time in the studio, I think that only applies if either A, they are, they're independent and they're not really aware of the best way of approaching a recording, which is when you do an amateur recording, you should focus more on your musicianship and on your practice than on having the clearest recording, because the promoters that you're advertising to don't really care about the quality of the recording, they care about the quality of the musicianship. Or vice versa, if you are with a record company, then you should you should be able to say to your record company, well, look, we don't need an expensive studio. Effectively, you can record a brilliant album in a practice room, just as long as you've got a decent set of mics, which most practice rooms will gladly, especially in Japan, they'll lend you studio mics for just like, the equivalent of like $1 an hour. So this whole thing about I hear this a lot, and I think for perhaps people who are not familiar with the system, it's easy to believe that this is true, but there's a lot of hype and just total bullshit about how much it costs to record. I would say this is more true in Japan. I know this is different in countries like America, although there are still systems for doing this in America. In the UK, it's a bit difficult as well, but certainly, in any country it's possible to do it, and in Japan especially, you can record a very high quality album without having to book anything more than a practice room, and renting out the microphones if necessary. I mean, this whole thing, everyone's got this image that you need to have a mixer desk. What a load of bullshit. Look at a lot of the really, really, we're talking about the overproduced albums here, the albums that have like huge amounts of production on. Most of them are not produced with a mixer desk. They're produced completely on like a laptop or a computer. Mixing desks are now redundant. I'm sorry, they're nice if that's your taste, but when it comes to actual use, they're redundant. They have no effect on quality. If anything, they just limit your ability to automate mixing, which can lead to mistakes. It can lead to things getting left out, things being forgotten, unless you're constantly writing a ridiculous number of sticky notes. So, I think there is a lot of just bullshit about how recording works. And I'm glad to say that over the last 10 years, you hear a lot about these sort of bedroom artists who go on to be famous, and their demo is recorded in such a high quality that it gets played on the radio and that no one really noticed the difference, because the truth is you just don't need a recording studio anymore unless you are doing something very specifically complex. And certainly if you are a relatively low budget band, then you do not need all that crap. So I totally understand your point, totally understand where you're coming from, but there is a lot of, if your problem is budget, you'll be fine. If you're going for the perfect album and you're contesting against a busy tour schedule and things like this, okay, I can see where this becomes more of an argument of, creativity against commercialism, profit against, freedom of expression. However, for artists with a low budget, I actually think they have an easier time. And I don't really buy into excuses about quality of an album. There's no reason why a junior band can't deliver an extremely sharp album that demonstrates what their music is and what they want to be to the best of their level. And if a junior band gives you an underdeveloped, whether it be musicianship or whatever, if they give you a demo album that doesn't properly represent what they want to do, then I do think that 100% comes down to them. So that's just my opinion there. So look at some of the things that are being mentioned on here. Quality over quantity. Yeah, that's another point as well. Bands, when they first start out, they don't, they start with EPs. That's become another kind of common thing recently, which I think is showing a business smarts on the part of a lot of bands that they, obviously the demo tapes of old used to be like sort of 3, 4, 5 tracks, but it is nice now that a band can like sort of produce an EP which is like 4 or 5 tracks, low quantity, high quality, and just say, well, look, we're going to commercially make this available as an EP. Cliff, late to the party, not too late. Short skirt, I missed something, didn't I? I'll tell Cliff quickly. All right, Cliff, what happened? If you might remember, if you saw the video when I left the old Cardboard Palace studio, I showed everyone around the actual inside of the office. And one of the things I showed you was in front of the air conditioning thing. There was a slightly hentai-ish banner that had been left there by the office owners, just as a bit of a giggle. And because I mentioned that to them, when I came into this place, they had left me a present, which was this. I just opened it on camera. This fine young lady doing her gardening. So she's a real hard worker. You know, she didn't even have time to get out of her daily uniform. Just went straight into the garden, got straight on with her work. Fantastic stuff. Maybe she's cleaning the car. I don't know. Either way, she got right on with it. That's one of the best housewarming party gifts I've ever been given. So Cliff, what else did you mention? Lindsay Sterling started off as an AGT reject. What? AGT, what's AGT? Is that the name of the company? Is this a term I'm not familiar with? Let me know. Perfume started off managed by one of their mums. Yeah, I heard something about that. I don't know too much about the details, but Cliff, yeah, no judgment here. America's Got Talent. Oh, America's Got Talent is AGT. Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting one, actually. I mean, it'll be really interesting to know what you guys think of these talent shows. Obviously, very much of the Simon Cowell creation thing. So I guess they kind of, they sourced from Britain, but now they're popular all over the world. I mean, obviously, they've seen their heyday, but they're still very big in a lot of countries, especially Asian countries. A lot of them are only just sort of starting to take off there. But I've always been... I'm very much against them. I've heard a lot of things about the way they're run, and that some people, you can turn up, and that some of these events, there was a thing where you turn up and there was a 50% chance you wouldn't even be seen at all, just to cover numbers, and all these kind of weird things about how these TV talent shows were organized. And effectively, I mean, they annoy me because there was actually, if you guys know the British comedy duo Mitchell and Webb, they did a fantastic comedy sketch about this. Where a guy interviews a woman who's just come off of stage having done a failed audition, and she's just talking about how she gave her heart and soul to the performance. And the interviewer is saying, well, yes, but didn't you think of doing something like learning the lyrics or learning a proper singing technique, or why didn't you actually put in some hard work, basically? And I think that's kind of the truth. I think my issue is a lot of people see these talent shows as an easy route to fame. And even if they deserve it, if they achieve fame through that means, I can't help but feel that they haven't really experienced the journey. And that might be a purist thing to say, but I think any form of fame, you should feel that it's been achieved through hard work. You know, like working up to the top of a business or getting promoted. You shouldn't just suddenly turn up and it's done for you. So I can't help but feel that even if people are talented, if they get talent through these sorts of shows, it feels to me like it's not something that is really properly tangible in the way that a normal artist would progress. But then again, I've heard stories of artists who've just done everything and the industry is quite closed and they haven't managed to get through, so they've just kind of done it because it's the only real option left to them. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, that, but being an AGT reject is probably a good thing, because if you win at one of those programs, it probably suggests that you're a bit nauseatingly bland, likable in the most bland of ways. Harry, I don't think she is gardening. I think she is at a charity car wash. I wonder who would be giving her money for that now. Fernando, Western equivalent of idol bands. That's a very good point, actually. I've had this discussion with people before. It is true that there is a degree of that. I mean, it's the whole voting thing. I guess that in a way, the Japanese idol bands who do this kind of voting and promotion and graduation and all of this, I think at least they have in a bizarre way, the honesty about how cynical they are. They wear the reality of their cynical function on their sleeve. You know, they paint it as being a cutesy thing, graduation, all this, but it's very clear for everyone to see it's just a popularity contest that never ends. with these TV talent things, I think that they have a slightly more cynical approach of suggesting that they are creating legitimate artists who are supported by the people, who are backed by these people, where really what they're usually doing is they're promoting whoever appeals on television rather than more musically, or who sings the most popular style, or who has a certain degree of showmanship. And, you know, because the fact that the people who are voting for them are often more television fans than really music fans, the net result is that these people, they win a television program to become a musician, and then they have no support in their music career because all the people who knew them and supported them are not actually that interested in music. So they all end up becoming television celebrities again, you know. I mean, you even look at someone like, what's her face, Kelly Clarkson, who, you know, credit whatever people think of her, fantastic voice. And she was probably the most successful of all of those sort of TV idol people, with exceptions like the One Directions and all that. But what's she doing now? She's just back on television, you know, because people know her more for television than they do for music, even after having a relatively successful career. So, yeah, I think all of these shows, it would be nice to, but then again, if you look at the idol groups, you know, idols leave those, they go on to become actresses and models, but that's almost accepted, you know, it's almost accepted that if you leave an idol group, you're not necessarily going to become a famous singer. You're just going to become a celebrity of some kind. So I think there's more, ironically, as cynical as the idol industry might be in Japan, I think there's actually a degree of honesty to it that these talent shows lack. So look, it's called fan service. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've always had this point that I believe that the best thing if you're on one of those TV talent shows is to come second, because and it does kind of bear out, because if all of your fans, if all of the people watching are supporting you, going, I want my person to win, I want my person to win. If you're the person who wins, then the journey is over for all your followers. They're like, yes, we won, that's it. Maybe they'll just buy your first single just to go, yeah, this is my trophy to show that my team won, yay. And then, oh, you released more songs. Oh, it doesn't matter, I bought the first single, you know. Whereas if you come second, then the followers, your fans, will feel a little bit more like, we didn't quite win, you know, my side was let down, my side didn't get to win. So they're more likely to follow you, because your first single isn't going to be your victory. They're going to keep on pushing you until you have like a platinum album or something. So I get the feeling coming second from a psychological level is more of a beneficial thing on those TV talent shows. So let's have a look at this. Harry, I didn't enjoy any of those talent shows. No, they're all, I mean, I don't enjoy any of them. I occasionally watch some of the YouTube clips if someone sends it to me or links it on Facebook or something, just, you know, for a bit of a giggle, but they are all basically pretty turgid. Cliff, so many of them are rigged. There was that guy that was playing the flute while stripping, and Terry Crews jumped in and joined him. I mean, come on, Terry Crews just happened to bring a flute with. Yeah, I haven't seen that, I know that, but it sounds like something that should surprise you, but it doesn't surprise me because TV talent shows, they just throw money at celebrities to make the thing look legit, don't they? Cliff, Him That Night, please. Him That Night. Oh, with Him That Night. Okay. So Demi. Hey, Demi. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Zim. Funny thing about the idol talent shows is that the runner-up seems to get the most successful musical careers. Yeah, I don't know if you typed that before or after what I said, but I do think that that's just down to a simple, you know, almost like a psychological element. If your person won, your journey is over. You buy the single, that's it. You move on to next series and see who you're going to support next series. But if your person came second, your team has not been correctly reimbursed for their time and effort. So you'll keep on supporting them until their careers are a justifiable success of their own. It is true, the second place person almost always ends up having the more longevity to their career, from what I've seen at least. Cliff, sorry, I meant the short skirt gardener was a fan. Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry, the lag time is killing me, so I'm just sort of standing up and pulling my socks into position because I'm sitting cross-legged. Okay. The lag time's not good here either, so apologies about that. Fernando, true. I find those shows are a popularity show, and most of the winners disappear after a few years, and with little musical material. Yeah, I mean, One Direction, I think, came from that sort of thing, and although I'm no fan of One Direction, I've got to admit that of the sea of that kind of crap, they were at least tolerable. They had a few songs that were at least nice when they came on the radio, you know, just sort of pleasantly sing-alongable, but they had a lot of total shit as well. So they were amongst one of the better ones. Like I say, I never really had any problem with Kelly Clarkson. She was a little bit overly dramatic and woe is me, but she had a nice voice and some good little tunes and everything. But, you know, those are the sort of artists who are 10 a penny. If you're just going to really go for a talent contest, you just want to find someone who can do good, listenable music. Well, you can find that anywhere. So I think it would be nice if there'd be no TV audience for it. It wouldn't be great if there was a TV talent show for composers instead. You know, write the best song. Then you'd be looking at genuine talent. You know, because musicians and singers, I hate to say it, they're 10 a penny. You know, you go out to a city that has a proper busking community, and you will find singers who are on the level with, you know, let's be honest, most of the artists who we talk about on this channel. The reasons why the artists who we talk about on this channel are at the level they're at is a mixture of many things. You know, it's a mixture of luck, it's a mixture of hard work, you know, it's a mixture of knowing the right people, being in the right band. There is that element. I mean, we always talk about how good Bandmate are as an actual band, and I can't remember what it was, but someone commented, and actually someone who was obviously not a fan of theirs was on one of the videos a few months ago, and just sort of said, well, you know, these girls are not like the best musicians in the world. And my kind of feeling to that was, okay, maybe they're not, but together their average quality level is so rare to have a band with that kind of quality level on average. So in a way, you could say that all of them are where they are because of the fact they're together. So, you know, there is a lot of elements to that. There's so many ways of approaching the whole talent thing. But Haro, I just imported Metal Galaxy from into my iPhone now. Still haven't heard it. Officially comes out tomorrow, but I know what Japanese pre-release CDs are like. It turns up like 2 days before the actual release date. So yeah, no credit. I really can't wait to get into that and give it a listen. So Haro, I need to meet you when I go back to Tokyo. You know, probably sometime next week would be a good idea, so we can do a bit of a CD exchange. And yeah, I need to give you back the CDs I've kept from you for so long. Cliff, if your music is good and you persevere over the failures, you will succeed. I'm going to read the rest of your comment before I reply to that. A lot of the better ones have lasting careers, lost their talent shows. They didn't need to win. Yes, I agree with the soul of what you're saying. I agree with the idea of what you're saying. I do think that music, especially now, is much more complicated. You say if your music is good and you persevere over the failures, you will succeed. I think that is true if we're working on the prerequisite that you know how to promote your music as well, that you know how to work the industry, because you have to be as much of a businessman now as anything else, a business person, as anything else to be successful with music. Just being really, really good can end up you up just doing the local dive bars for the rest of your life. It is amazing how much is now involved, and especially nowadays, you need to be an ace at working social media, which you know, like I say, it puts unless you're like a really young band, it puts you on the back foot. So you're getting a lot of bands in their late 20s and early 30s who are still very young, but are just not as up to date on social media, struggling to do those things. So there's a lot of elements to it. But yes, I agree with the basis of what you're saying. If we assume all of that is done as a prerequisite, then yeah, if your music is good and you persevere, and if you persevere, your music will get better even if it doesn't start out being good, because you'll persevere at improving your writing. I do think this is a thing people often miss out. Everyone talks about live shows, and everyone talks about performance quality. Writing is the most important thing, in my opinion. So let's have a look here. I did say most, not all. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm doing my usual thing of using my usual thing of overanalyzing every comment. Yay! The hard work and quality material wins the day. Like I say, I mean, just go back to my own point. In most cases, yes, but not always. It's not to say that the stuff that we hear succeeding is always the best stuff available. There's lots of stuff that we could probably love more than we can imagine that we'll never ever get to hear, just disappearing into the billions of MP3s that fill the internet, and that we just simply never get to find because no one's had the wherewithal to promote them correctly. So I like I said, I agree with your point in essence, though. Harry, yes, definitely next week. We need to meet next week. So Metal Gear Solid officially came out in Japan on the 8th. Really? That's not what they keep on saying on my Facebook feed. My Facebook feed is set to Japanese, so kind of strange that it's Japanese and set in Japan. So maybe just their Facebook is based on the international one. Fair enough. Cliff, oh wow, the Baby Metal live is amazing. The album doesn't do it justice. The energy at the live is unreal. Yeah, but I mean, this is the point I'm going to make. And again, I can't really argue with you because you're basically right. But there was this point I was saying, I've said this a few times in a few different ways, and sometimes it can be hard to explain. But the reason why, I mean, people say to me a lot of the time, well, look, okay, this might not sound great on the recording, but it's great live. I know some songs, and I'm talking about a very small number of songs, are written to be better live and just work better. But I've always had this feeling. The thing is that you could take a really crap band, a band who are not very good, and they would be really good live if they had the right energy. If they had the right energy engaged with the audience properly, and then you have to play their audiences in a sort of heavy beat, fun way, and make them danceable or sort of moshable, they would be good. You could take a really good band, you could give them a totally crap song, say, here, cover this really awful song, and they could whip it up into a really cool style. They could play it and it could go down a smash live. In fact, that happens quite often. You hear a lot of well-known sort of rock bands doing really good covers of cheesy pop songs and things and making them into fantastic live songs. My point basically being that I don't think that having a good live show it has a crossover. If you imagine a Venn diagram, it has a crossover, but I don't think it's intricately or in any important way connected to being a band with good songs. I think you can be real trash songs and still be great live. I have actually heard a couple of bands live who I didn't like on recording and were actually really good live, and then still didn't like them on recording, which to me means their songs are not good. They're just kind of very good at presenting their show. So yeah, I know what you say about that. The live thing though is always an issue for me. I think you can enjoy almost anything live, and that's one of the great things about live. But if it came down to commenting, giving reactions based on live music all the time, just I know it's not what you're saying, but just to extend it in that direction. If it came down to that, I suspect I would spend most of my time going, hey, everything's great, which would be wholeheartedly meaningless. So yeah, that's right. But I mean, Baby Metal, I think, are more than most bands, especially recently, seems to be very much focusing on the live thing. I think that's because their most recent album is such a studio-sounding album, so production-heavy. That's the sound they decided to go with. It's a bit more of a sonic playground for this album, that they are really working on having a much more theatrical, even than before, live show, just to kind of counter and show that they're still raw and it's still metal. Anyway, let's move on to some of these other comments. Harry Scandal is a great band, but I have to assume that they're very quick 2 years from forming to being signed to a record label had to do with connections through their music school they all attended. Yeah, that's one of the cynical things. I often find it a bit difficult when bands come up through just attending a certain school. To me, that is a bit of a cheap way of doing it, but at the same time, if you're doing it through a school, you had to earn it, you had to work for it by being good, and you had to impress the right people. It's not exactly what I would say, it's not the sort of thing where if a band says, oh, we did that, it doesn't automatically gain respect from me, but if you listen to them and they sound like Scandal and they've had the effect during their career on the industry that Scandal have done, I think they've long since proved themselves long after that was the issue. Ivy, I think the perception of live being better is due to the atmosphere than the actual music and can be distorted by a sound system audience. Exactly. I mean, let's put it this way. If you sit in your room and you just do the and start singing "We Will Rock You," I don't think you're going to sit there going, "Wow, this is awesome! This song's amazing! I can't believe I'm making this awesome song." You're not going to do that, because really, as a song, it's a bit of a nothing song. You know, it's not bad, but it's a nothing song. But live, it works amazingly. You kind of have to sort of take in this fact that, as you're saying, the atmosphere. If you know how to play to the atmosphere, you can make something really crap actually into quite a fun evening. So, this is not to say that a good live are just trading on that, but I'm saying it makes it very hard to judge how good a song is solely off of the live performance. So, yeah, the atmosphere being the main reason for that, because everyone gets into it. You're in a room full of people who are into it. You're going to get into it too. That's one of the reasons why it's so enjoyable. You get to join that group mentality. Everyone's feeling the same way you are. So, of course, you get swept up with it. Fernando, but Scandal were also out there in Osaka Park playing on weekends during those 2 years, and anywhere they could play too. See, that's much more the sort of thing you want to hear about a band who are gaining the attention and the favour of music lovers and their peers, and who are genuinely doing something along those lines. So, yeah, I mean, hearing the little bit I have of Scandal and hearing about them as I have from you guys, I can't help but feel they sound like a bit too much of a legitimate artist just to be someone who waited to be produced by a record company. So yeah, that's a nice fact. Kind of adds a little bit something a little bit more meaty to their story. Because he's comparing a work of art against an emotional experience. The live is about the emotional experience. I don't ever like Baby Metal very much, except for like one song, Now Free, because thank you. I always appreciate those sorts of comments. Now Free because of you. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Comparing art against an emotional experience, and this is another reason why I find it very difficult to review live music. And I've noticed that a lot of other reviewers online, they really aim for the live stuff because I think they know that it's an emotional thing, like you say, and therefore it's easy for them just to go, "Wow, this is great." Even if they don't actually like the music, they can just sit there going, "Wow, that was really impressive. That was great," because it would be great to anyone. I mean, seriously, you could if you took someone who was just into EDM, didn't listen to rock at all, and you took them along to a Bandmade show, they'd enjoy it. I'm pretty sure they would. I can pretty much guarantee you they would, because the noise and the energy would catch them and they would enjoy it. It wouldn't be their thing. They wouldn't buy the record. They wouldn't even remember the name of the band probably afterwards, but they'd enjoy it. Because the emotional experience, the emotional experience can come from you loving the band. I mean, I've been to concerts by bands who I really love, and there's nothing like sitting there and just thinking next song, is it going to be one of my favorite, like 2 or 3 songs that I really hope they play? And then they play something else, but you think, oh, I love this song anyway. And there is something lovely about that, and the way that when you recognize a song you like coming in, or you recognize a song and think, oh my God, I didn't think they were going to play that. And hearing everyone else enjoying what you enjoy, that's a very emotional experience. But it can work for someone who doesn't like the artist as well. It's an emotional experience for anyone because it's like a roller coaster. You are in a room full of people who are facing in one direction and enjoying themselves. That's going to have an effect on you. And this is why, like I say, I think the whole live music thing, it can be very misleading. Because look, I know if you like a band and you hear them live, chances are you're going to love it. So, like I said, it's not. I would feel stupid trying to give comments on a lot of bands live because I'd just be like, well, I can't critically analyze it so much, and if I can't give a proper critical analysis, then what's the point of me wasting your time making you watch me watch it? You might as well just watch it and enjoy it because I enjoy it. Anyway, Harry, spent their very long hours practicing their instruments to master them. Yeah, that just sounds like genuine musicianship the way it should be. I'm all for that. There are times where the live mix sounds better than in studio, but it still in the end sounds better when the live feed is properly remastered. Not real raw live. I think the only time that a live recording properly mastered and mixed sounds better than studio version is if the studio version was overly produced. If the producers got their hands in too much and just took over too much. I know a couple of bands where the actual studio mastered live recordings are preferable to me, but that's only because I knew the original recording just sounded too much production. And I like production, I mean, you guys know some of my favorite artists are very production heavy, but it's got to be done wisely. If you're going to throw in a lot of production, you need a good producer. So yes, I would agree with you very much that there are some studio live songs or studio produced live performances that sound better than the original. But as a general no, I would say most live recordings properly mixed down just make a really interesting alternative, especially if it's like a rocky song. It makes like a nice alternative. It's like, oh, okay, am I going to listen to it in its perfect form, or am I going to listen to the ramshackled version just for a change, But yes, no, I agree. You very much have a point there. Although I would say that's in the minority of occasions rather than the majority. My opinion, of course. Cliff Lee, yeah, iDragons who don't follow J-pop to that Babe Metal concert, they won't stop thanking me now. None of us bought the album though. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I think that's absolutely fine. That's although I'm not a big fan of festivals as a general, because you guys know I hate that thing where your favorite band's playing but only play 4 songs, and at the same time the only other band you want to see playing on another stage. So there's 8 songs you wanted to see, but you only got to see 4, and then I don't really like festivals anymore. But they're a good example of how you can do that for people who are trying to find new music. They go there and they get to see these things, and even if they don't buy any of it or they don't really take to any of it, they just get swallowed up by something they haven't heard before, and it is a good experience. So, as in like Baby Metal's Karate, in the album version, some of the guitar harmonies get drowned out, but you can hear them in live mixes. Yeah, again, I don't deny that. Don't deny that at all. But I think overall, there's a reason it's mixed that way. This thing we've got to remember. I mean, there's a reason. I'm not saying that all producers and studio engineers are. I'm not saying they're all perfect. I'm not saying they all grasp the songs. Some of them grasp the songs they're given very wrong and make some creative mistakes that the bands and the fans regret afterwards. But as a general, there's a reason why these studio engineers are paid vast amount of money, and the producers, especially the producers, often can make more money than the artists, especially if the band's got a lot of members. Is literally because these people they're the ones who can take the song and they can extract the most out of it. So yes, don't get me wrong. If you've heard Karate already, let's use Karate example. If you've heard Karate already and you're familiar with it, then yes, I can understand why you'd want the live version as an alternative, so you can pick new things out of the song that maybe you don't get to enjoy usually. But I would suggest overall the version with most longevity and that would appeal to most people would be the studio version, because someone sat down and decided which bits need the most accenting, which bits need the most volume, which bits need to be given the most impact, which bits need to be sidelined. Thus, they do it that way. So again, yeah, like I say, I mean, no one can give a full opinion on this because it's all subjective to opinion. But I do think that we do have to. Often I do think there's a lot of times when there's so much, and I will just say this here, and I'm certainly not pointing this at anyone in this chat, because we have really great chats on this. But just give more of a general point, I think there's this slightly concerning thing with what I would regard as musician worship, which I don't think is really healthy. People don't respect the right a lot enough, and I know a lot of the time, especially in rock, the mixing engineer gets a lot of respect. Producers get such a hard time when it comes to rock music, and yet if producers were unnecessary, they would never be hired. Producers do a very important job, and they make these songs, they give them the longevity, and they accent the bits that need to be done if they're a good producer. So I think there is this thing where people always talk about, wasn't the musician great, etc. And I know that's the point, they're the artist, but I do think that sometimes people sort of think of the studio recordings as this cold, calculated, decision. And it can be. I have heard of artists who've been pushed into doing albums ways they don't want it to be done. But if an album's done properly, then that to me is always the best way to hear the songs. Anything else, like other versions, live versions, seeing it live itself, they are just alternatives that you can have afterwards to further explore your love for the song. That's just my opinion. I know we've discussed this from many angles in many ways, but I do think often there is people don't realize how creative and how important studio versions of songs are. Again, my opinion. By all means, feel free to contest that. That's what discussion's for. Let's have a look at some of these. Harry, I find a lot of Scandal's music is better live because they change the arrangements and drop a lot of the overproduction sounds you can find on a number of their album tracks. Well, like I say, it depends. If the production is bad, fine. If it's just that you personally don't like the production, you like the sound of them more raw, that would be an opinion thing. That's difficult. I think we'd have to draw a general opinion. I know a lot of Scandal's older fans were less impressed with their more recent stuff, comparatively speaking, for having a lot of production on it. But overall, of all the people who bought the albums, I wonder, including new fans, did a lot of people think the production worked? This is where this becomes a bit of a messy issue, really, to sort of say for everyone. But from your perspective, I can understand you would like it that way. I do think it's very important that bands should play their songs differently live. They should be distinctly different. I mean, a lot of the bands who I've heard where I like their production heavy stuff, I like it just as much when you see them live and the song doesn't sound the same. So I don't want to go to your show and hear you play exactly the same as the recording, or it's just kind of, what's the point? Surprise me. When I turn up, surprise me. So yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with them doing the songs more raw, but again, it doesn't invalidate the quality of the recorded version. It was that specific experience. I was talking about the sort of the live experience, I'm assuming. So I'm going back through the notes. Sorry, about the Vader Metal concert. Yeah, yeah. I think that's the point. It's the specific experience, the memory that you create from it. Fernando, I had a blast last week with two bandmate shows in NYC, but it really was an emotional experience. Yeah, again, I think of some of the best shows I've seen comes down to that emotional feeling of just like, yeah, I saw that. It was great to be in the room and experience it. And you remember the experience more than anything specifically about how they played the songs a lot of the time. So Harry, the New York show I went to last year was one of the best times of my life. Scandals live is pure heaven. Yeah. Again, I think it's also back to these are great experiences that you guys all get to remember. They become your experience. They become something personally that you've shared with the band, something where you've really enjoyed with the band in almost a hands-on way. Seaville, Scandal is way better live in my opinion. I didn't get into them until I watched live footage. I'll be interested to see the comparisons. So I'm going to start off with the albums if I don't get copyright call. Cliff, I've got to go keep it real, Stave. Stay back. You too, my friend. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for joining us in our new Palace of Cardboard. You have a good time, my friend. On the other hand, I actually like the album version of Kagero. When I heard it yesterday, I had it live on all the pro shots I've seen. The production was really good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear someone sort of standing up for a recorded version of something. But so Fernando Daydreaming official video version is still my favorite version, having watched it played live twice. It is a masterpiece in my opinion. That's actually a good example again. I mean, I don't know Kagero. I don't know that song as well, if I'm honest with you. But when it comes to Daydreaming, that's a song where obviously the production elements are kind of important. It is kind of an airy, ballady song, so I can see why that would work. Seagull, usually our first studio. Scandal is an exception. That's interesting. So I know that you and I agree on quite a lot musically. So that gives me a feeling that I should probably try a bit of Scandal's studio stuff as well. Maybe when I try some of their stuff during that era, which everyone kind of said was their poppier era, maybe I'll try out some songs in both versions to give a comparison. Now, at this point, I really need to get some water because I am parched. So I think I'm going to run out of the room and get some water. So you guys mind holding on for just 1 minute? I've been talking too much. I've absolutely done my voice in. So please 1 moment. I shall be right back. I assure you that we're not in Hanoi anymore. I just still have that bottle. Scandal has had real poppy sounding songs on all their album. They just went a little heavier with them on Yellow and Honey. They did have some good, great rockers on both. Yeah, I think that sounds a bit more reassuring than what I've been told before, that their sound just kind of slipped, or at least fans felt that way. But I should definitely check it out. Water first. Oh, my throat. I think the air is very dry here. It's much drier here than it is in Tokyo, which is ridiculously humid. Ugh. All right, I can breathe again for a short while. Wonderful. So just to let you guys know, we're going to be taking this particular live stream up for another half an hour. We're doing a 90-minute live stream today, so we're not going for the 2 hours today. Various reasons. I've got a lot of stuff to do. I'm only here while I arrive to down. I've got to leave again tomorrow at lunchtime, so I've got a lot of things to do while I'm here. So it's going to be a relatively short one. So we've got half an hour on it. To have a look at some of the other things that have been posted here. So CBL, also, I haven't plugged Girlfriend this chat, but they have a cool new cover where they all just play the one guitar. Okay, I've seen that sort of thing done with other bands before, but I'll definitely check them out. I need to do more Girlfriend on the channel. They don't get a huge amount of views, which means it's kind of hard for me to schedule too many of their songs. But I will, I'll definitely have a look at more of them. There is a couple of theirs that I've got lined up anyway. Zim, not in Tokyo anymore. Yes, sorry, I don't know if you hadn't picked up on that one from maybe the previous stuff, but we are out of Tokyo once I'm here. I'll be sharing time between this, my new secret location, and Tokyo. So weekdays here, weekends in Tokyo, which means it'll be a real contrast. Believe me, you're going to really, you're going to be quite taken, I think, when you see where I am. It's quite a wondrous place that I am staying. So, Amanda, Scandal, had some good rock songs. Had some good rock songs in their early career too. That's what I've heard. I heard a lot of people were really into their early stuff. I saw that video, great fun to watch. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which video that was you're referring to. Sorry, I might be a little bit. Oh, the Girlfriend one. It might be the Girlfriend one you're referring to. Yeah, okay, I'll definitely go on to that then. So, I know there was a few things I was going to talk to you guys about, but I just got so caught up in it that I kind of forgotten what they were. Anyway, one of the good things is now I'm here, there's so much stuff. I have so much stuff to unpack, so many things. But one of the things I found is James left a drink. He left a drink behind. And normally, if someone left a drink behind with me, then I would drink it. I would be like, I'm having that. Unfortunately, what he left behind is so vomity that I'm not going to drink it. Even though it was me who recommended he bought it in the first place. But, yeah. It's basically beer tomato juice. Now, I, for one, think tomato juice is one of the most disgusting things in the world. But this is like beer tomato juice. Beery tomato juice. I did like one of those. I want YouTubers there for a second. Didn't I? Big hiccup. So, I'm not sure when I'm going to get the full reveal on the new location. There's no point in me doing it yet because, like I say, I'm only doing a test today here. But maybe once we settle in at the beginning of November. Like I said, I got some really good news on new equipment. That should be arranged very soon. Which is going to speed things up. I mean, it'll make things much faster. That won't be a huge amount of use until I'm actually here and I'm, settled in this space in a couple of weeks' time. But yeah, I'm really, really feeling positive. Let's have a look at it. I just received 2 CDs by the Peggies and one from Girlfriend yesterday afternoon. We'll listen to them today. That's brilliant. I'm really hoping you enjoy them. I am particularly enjoying my journey with Peggies. There's one that I just reviewed that hasn't gone up yet, which is really, really fantastic. Another fantastic song by them. So Peggies are a bit of an off-again, on-again band for me. Some of their stuff I absolutely adore. Some of their stuff is like, that's not bad, pretty good. Yeah, I think because they're a free piece, it's amazing it's a struggle to make each of your songs memorable when you're a free piece without adding too many elements that are extras to the actual band itself. But the Peggies do a brilliant job with their sound. And like I say, I've listened to 5 songs now. 4 of them have been posted, and 3 of them are really good. 2 of them I found good, but not amazing. And yes, CMC, that includes Glider. Glider was okay. Sorry about that, CMC. We disagree. Does that surprise you? So, yeah, lots of things going on here, but I'm not really sure what's best to mention. What I am going to show you is that tonight I will be partaking of this wonderful beverage. I'm feeling a little bit better today, so I thought I'd avail myself of this wondrous beverage. Don't worry, it's not the same one I just showed you. So it's made by the world's finest alcohol company, Sapporo. It's a Chuhai, which is kind of like a equivalent of Japanese vodka drink, if you imagine. And it's red apple. Now, if you've ever had like red apple flavored vodka, that's amazing. The Japanese Chuhai one. The 9%er is absolutely gorgeous. In fact, well, actually, I already know what I think about this, and you'll find out when you see what's it called again? The Backer Binge. Yeah, I forgot we haven't posted any episodes of it yet, but the Backer Binge with me and James, where James's series where we try different foods and drinks from Tokyo. That's a really funny one. We did a lot of alcohol as well, and then we were tipsy enough to trash the place afterwards, but not in like an irresponsible way, in a very responsible way. We towered up beers and then punched them. And that was the point when I realized that having no depth perception makes it very difficult to punch a tower of cans. So let's have a look here. Harry Scandals, Kagero, Kage, I still can't pronounce it. Anataka, Mawaru, and Maboroshi Nights are real good rockers off their first album, but most of them on that album. You know what? I mean, the funny thing is, everyone's talking about the songs that are more rock, and I do get an anger at why people would like those. But in a way, there's so many girl rock bands at the moment. I know Scandal obviously predate a lot of them, but in a way, I'd like to hear some. I'm actually kind of more excited to hear Scandal's more poppy stuff, if I'm honest with you, just because I've heard a lot of Japanese girl rock recently. I just want to hear something a little bit different. So I'm actually looking forward to hearing some of their more poppy stuff. But I might be won over by a good rock chorus or something like that, or a good rock riff. We'll see how that goes. Harry, the only ones that come off more poppy, in my opinion, are Ring 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 and maybe Kimi to Yuro to Namida. Well, I won't know. I don't know yet. Fernando, 99.99% alcohol. No, actually. It says 99.99, and the Japanese says 49, like 4 nines. Oh, here we go. So it says on the can underneath. Let's read this together. High purity of okay, I can't read it that way. High purity vodka at a level of 99.99%. So that's the purity of the vodka. After which was later filled for greater drinkability. Great English there. I mean, it is Chuhai, not vodka, but I guess when they're writing, they're going to call it vodka because they're effectively the same thing. I really hate this. I know James loves when I do this, but limited. I don't want limited things. If it's good, just making it. Don't tell me, hey, we gave you that really great thing. You liked it, didn't you? You liked it. It's gone. I was about to give you money for more. No, it's gone. We're not making it anymore. I like it. No. Limited things. Truly one of the great evils of this world. And moving on from that. So yes, there is a typhoon heading towards Tokyo this weekend, as many of you might know. I suspect it's going to be like the last typhoon which James was here for, which just kind of dissipated off of the coast. Yes, it trashed a lot of Chiba, but didn't really have any effect on Tokyo. I will be in Tokyo for the wonder of the typhoon. And there's a Formula One race actually this weekend as well, which should be affected by the typhoon. Hopefully that doesn't wash it out. But yeah, let's have a look. Actually, might as well while I'm here, let's check out what the chances are for the total obliteration of the southern coast of Japan over the weekend. So we're gonna check connection is disconnecting you guys. So while I'm looking at this tab, for all I know, you've all been disconnected. Is anyone still there? Who knows? We'll find out when I come back to you in a minute. Tokyo weather. All right, let's have a look at the Tokyo weather prediction. It is apparently 17 degrees and raining in Tokyo today. Saturday, let's turn it down so you can have a look at this. Saturday, there is supposed to be a whole lot of rain, and then it'll be better on Sunday. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't really tell you much about it, but it says, rain, it'll be rain, lots of rain. So let's turn you down for a second so we can work out the next one. Yes, it seems the same can be said for the Formula One race as well. It's going to be rain on Saturday and nothing on Sunday. Let's have a look here. Harry, Fernando, do you know a good place to buy digital copies of Girlfriend's albums that I can access in the United States? I don't see them on Amazon or iTunes for purchase. Harry, have you tried Amazon.co.jp? So many people don't try this because I just naturally don't think to. But if you go to Amazon.co.jp, sign yourself up for an account, you can basically buy all the stuff you would in Japan. There doesn't seem to be much in the way of question marks asked. I'd go for that if I was you. Fernando, no World WWT. Do you mean World Tour Wednesday? Is that WWT? Maybe you mean World Tour Wednesday. Yeah, we have skipped it. I put in a thing, if you are thinking about World Tour Wednesday, guys, I put in a thing in Reddit. I haven't really got any comments on that yet. So considering that I was a little bit busy this week with everything, James as well, I decided not to do the World Tour Wednesday because I hadn't had any suggestions, and so I thought, all right, skip over it. But we'll definitely do that next week, suggestions or not. Harry, yeah, see you. See you, Bill. I'm not sure about purchase, but All Girlfriend is on Spotify. It's on Spotify. Wow, okay, that's a good one to know. Fernando, Harry, no, I don't. I saw this stuff on YouTube. Yeah, I got admit I use YouTube for a huge amount of music listening actually these days. He's a little bit quiet, but there's ways around that. Harry, going to get a lot of rain here in NJ. I need to check my abbreviations. Also, there is a storm system parked right off the coast for a few days. I thought you meant New Jersey, but I didn't want to jump to that conclusion. I don't know. NJ is one of those things where it could be so many things. He means New Jersey, doesn't he? He means New Jersey. One of the ones, actually, I'll tell you one that really gets me is when it's okay when Americans are doing it to other Americans. But when Americans give their address, or in films, movies, where they write at the bottom locations of things, and then instead of putting the state name, they put it as like a 2-character abbreviation. Like I think CA is California and stuff like that. I really hate that, because if you're not American, you're looking at it like, what the hell does that mean? Right? Yeah, come on. I don't even know if I've even heard of all of the states. So, I hate when they do that. But for New Jersey, that's kind of okay, because New Jersey is like a city. It's like everyone's heard of New Jersey. Everyone knows New Jersey. I think if you said New Jersey to anyone on the planet, they'd be like, oh yeah, that place next to New York. It's famous enough you can get away with that. But when someone's using something for Twistington, Alabama, I don't bloody well know. Although it's nice, in American movies they do that. They put like the American locations will be like, of course you know this. But then when it'll come to like, they'll go to the capital of France and it'll be like Paris, France. Like, yeah, pretty sure everyone knew where Paris was. If not, the fact that you've used an establishing shot of the Eiffel Tower was probably a giveaway. So, sorry, I'm just whinging about the way that films subtitle their locations in establishing shots. Now, that's how random these live streams have got. So here we go. Ivy says USA. Well, that's fine, so long as you're not talking about the Da Pump song. If if you haven't heard our reaction to that on this channel, which is going back to like January, go back and check it out. Me and Bubbles listening to, I think it's actually called USA by Da Pump. Quite possibly the worst song ever to come out of Japan. I mean, it's a form of horror that I don't think should ever be. I think it should be, in some way, it should be illegal. Pretty sure that on some level it is harmful to your health. So yeah, let's not talk about that. Yeah, I'm quite happy with the location here actually. This room is smaller than I expected. I've got to admit, it's relatively small, but it's not like too small to live in. I mean, there's room for everything I've got. There's room for my music stuff over there. My sleeping area is behind here. I think that's just because I'm so used now after being in a gigantic office that I'm spoilt for, you know, being in a place where I can just run up and down in the middle of the night. It's kind of, I have to accept now that that's no longer possible. That was a bit of a freak occurrence. Who knows? Maybe it's an Eiffel Tower replica in Paris, Arkansas. Yeah, you know what? If it's an Eiffel Tower replica in Paris, Arkansas, then I would just frankly say, you know, fuck Paris, Arkansas. You know, if it's in Paris, Arkansas, that should be said. That should be when they have to write Paris. Arkansas, just so you know, I mean, they've got an Eiffel Tower replica in Las Vegas, after all. You know, and they've got one in China. There's that town in China where like a multi-millionaire completely beautifully, like almost to the exact measurement, rebuilt a vast portion of Paris, an exact duplicate in China, including an exact duplicate of the Eiffel Tower. So the Eiffel Tower actually has at least 2 identical clones of it, which is quite an amazing thing if you think of it. The one in Las Vegas and the one in China, which just happens to come along with the entire surrounding area of France as well. So there you go. Yeah, no, I think if you're going to build a town and you're going to name it after a more famous town and you're not going to put new in there, like for example, I know that America, I think it's either America or Canada, has a city called London, which is on a river called the Thames. Okay, now if you're going to use that, you have to go the Thames, London, America, Canada. If you're showing the one in England, it's just the Thames in London. Simple. You don't have to justify the original, especially when it's that much more famous. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I'm sticking with that. Sticking with that 100%. It works better with places where they put new in there, like New York, New Hampshire, which is actually New Orleans, isn't it? If you pronounce it the French way, it's New Orleans, but they pronounce it New Orleans. Oh, actually, no, they pronounce it New Orleans, don't they? New Orleans. It's so confusing. I'm sure a French person would go there and be very angry. The Englishman had spoken. Yeah, I'm a protector of the originals. Actually, I'll tell you how much I believe that the original takes precedent. I mean, I do agree that, I mean, I'm actually fine with American English. I've actually got no problem with it. I like to take joking stabs at it, but English is such an international language. But one of the ones I always laugh at, I always sort of point out the English pronunciation over the American pronunciation of most words, but the word aluminum, it is aluminum, because who invented the word? It's an American word. So when English call it aluminium, which does sound nicer, I must admit, that's wrong because it's an American word. Yeah, the original takes precedent, and that very much is the case when it comes to London or Paris. You know, you're going to rename your city after a famous capital. Your fault. Yes, the Englishman has spoken. Now let me go and kill some Aborigines and... Oh, my word. Okay, we've got 15 minutes left, guys, before I will be closing this one down. So I'd like to open the floor to comments. Anyone want to bring anything in? Anything you want to ask me? Any information that you think would be pertinent for us to talk about while we are here? I mean, just to cover a couple of points while you guys are thinking of any possible suggestions. Why am I waving a knife at you? That's a bit weird. So, yeah, I've been cutting open boxes. That's what it is. Just to reiterate the main points of this particular. Again, I know this has happened a lot over the last few months, but my apologies for the fact that our production rate on the channel speeds up, slows down. You know, we're not always achieving that 2 videos a day rule, which is kind of our rule. But like I say, I mean, just appreciate if you can for now that I'm basically living in internet cafes, friends' houses, their spare rooms and everything, and then I'm arranging a move to here, and I've got so many things going on that with me basically running the majority of the channel myself, it's hard to stick up with the level that we should be at. So my apologies for that. But yeah, seriously, in all honesty, it's something which is, you know, things are getting better. Like I said, there's a new computer coming on the way, which means I'm going to have 2, you know, this quality, which is great, this computer, and like one which is almost double the speed next to it. So that's going to really help speed up production. There's a lot of things that are going to mean that it will be much better. So like I say, just again, thank you so much for holding on. A special thanks to everyone who's been really involved in the channel, like Zimp and CMC. Big thank you to everyone who's on our Patreon, actually, because the Patreon did actually help a lot recently. The payments and that's slowly building up, and not a huge amount in there, but I got about $20 out of it in total, which has actually quite helped me recently with some of the stuff I need to do with moving some things up here. So yeah, big thank you to the Patreon guys. I know like it's difficult to give money, but those of you who are, it is actually genuinely making a difference. So I really appreciate that, and any help on any of the other stuff. And yeah, just like I say, keep the suggestions coming. And remember, we've got some great work going on the Reddit. So if you want to give suggestions, get on the Reddit. And to the World Tour Wednesday as well. Remember, next World Tour Wednesday, which is now being skipped to next week, it's going to be Indonesia. If you know any Indonesian music, or even if you want to go and research and find some for us, pop it in there. Because otherwise, we'll just go and find what we want to find, which might not be quite as amusing to you, but it'll be amusing to us. Anyway, let's have a look and see what we've got going on here. So, New Orleans. Yeah, New Orleans. Poor French. New Orleans. New Orleans. I believe that. Fernando, okay, got to run. Oh, okay. Have a good and keep up the good work. Bye. As always, much appreciated, man. Take it easy. Have a good one, and I will definitely be seeing you soon, hopefully. So thank you so much for tuning in. Harry, you just need to find an internet cafe that actually maintains the internet connection. Kind of, yeah, but it's difficult to actually film one of these things in an internet cafe. I mean, it was easier in Korea, because in Korea they're not so sensitive about you just sitting around filming yourself. So you guys remember I was just sitting outside like sort of convenience store cafe seats and recording when I was in Korea. Not so easy in Japan. They're more sensitive about photography and filming in public, and you know, so I like to respect that, unfortunately. It's just me respecting local politeness. But yeah, there are places to do it, but believe me, once we're set up here, it's going to change everything a lot. Harry, the Discord is a good place to go for a great and fun conversation also. Yeah, the Discord's actually been really fun. There's only got a small number of people who use that regularly. There's only like 4 or 5 people regularly on there, but it has been great. And so I really would recommend anyone else who wants to get onto the Discord, do it. I mean, it's just like good conversation, and we're all like interested in the same topic. So as a general, if you're on there, you're going to have a good chat. So definitely get on the Discord. But the Reddit's a great place if you want to leave something a little bit more permanent, shall we say. Tim, we need more people on Discord. We do. I think we only got like 4 or 5 people who regularly tune into Discord. More people, please. More people, please. Yeah, I would appreciate that. I think we'd all appreciate that. There's a lot of hard work going on these things. And I know we're only a small community, but and you know, I know a lot of people just want to come here and watch videos and they don't want to get involved and all that sort of stuff, and that's fine. You know, there's absolutely no reason why you have to be involved. But if you do feel like someone wants to get involved in a conversation, it's all friendly. We're all on the same side, except for CMC, who hates everything I like. But other than him, we're all on the same side. So you know, please get involved. Please get involved. I think we're up to 13 on the Reddit. I don't know how many active users are on, but I've certainly noticed a lot more people have been involved recently. There's a couple of guys I wanted to give a bit of a thank you to who posted some really great stuff on suggestions thread recently. So the Reddit's doing quite well. We need to keep that active, but again, Zimp and CMC have been doing amazing. They're pretty much single-handedly running that because, yeah, I got to admit, I don't want to sound like too much of a preachy old man, but I just find Reddit, I like the idea, but just the execution of the website is a total shambles for me. I just find it really user-friendly. I like the idea of the website, but I think they need to sort out how it works, you know, how it's where the buttons are, the positioning, yeah, how you get from one thing to the next is just awkward. So yeah, I don't spend as much time editing the Reddit, but I do like to get involved, and I certainly like to read it and take notes every time people give suggestions. So definitely get on there if you want to get through to me. That's a good way to do it. Oh yeah, remember the dogs? You guys remember there were dogs in the office that I was staying in before? Those dogs are in this building, yeah, because I'm around the same people, so you might well see more of the dogs. Have a look here. It's meant as a news feed, not a forum, so some things are awkward. Are you talking about the, do you mean Discord? Or do you mean, I mean, either way, yeah, I mean, everything's got a conversational element, so there's going to be some things that are going to awkwardly appear. The Reddit, yeah, I get what you mean. I think it actually works really well as well. I think it works as both. So I respect your point, but I think it works as both. Be interested to see what more people think as more people get involved. By the way, why have we only got one like for this stream? 10 people are watching and 9 people are going, this is crap, but I can't look away. Like moths banging into a light bulb though. Oh, rubbish. He's talking rubbish, but I can't look away. I'm wondering, oh, there we go. Some likes suddenly appeared. Thank you. Harry, share back and breakdown videos on social to spread Howard's reaction and build the community. Yes, I am spreading stuff on Facebook and on Twitter, but there's no reason why you can't do that too. If you're following our Facebook page on my Twitter, which you can find these now in any of the most recent videos, just find the links in the description below. If you're following any of them, then you'll be able to see the video suggestions when they come up. So if you want to be avid follower, I mean, like I say, there's no real reward for it, but we just appreciate it if you do. Just every time you see it, if you like what I post, just press share. You know, it's appreciated. You know, maybe your followers, people who you get on with, will join in as well, and there'll be more people you know in the discussion. Maybe you don't want that. Maybe you don't like your friends. Maybe you think they're all idiots and you don't want them involved in the discussion. But if you do like your friends, feel free to share our material. There we go. That was kind of like a subtle emotional blackmail happening there. I think that worked. As in ready. Oh yeah. I was wondering, where are you? Glad you're back. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. It depends what you mean back from. If you mean we're back from Vietnam, I've been back from Vietnam for a week or two now. Yeah, like a week and a half. If you mean back from being ill upon my return to Japan, I guess I kind of am. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I mean, as we're out of the Cardboard Palace now, whilst I'm in Tokyo, it's mainly internet cafes and staying with friends. And while I'm at my new location, which is yet to be revealed, but is in the sort of proximity of Tokyo, but certainly not close to Tokyo. While we're here, hopefully, well, this is the place. We're just doing a test run here, but we're moving here into here on the beginning of November, and that will be where I'll be able to start doing some more broadcasting from. So that should be a really great opportunity. But yeah, thank you so much for following up. I chat you on Facebook about Technical Math Rock band. So please check out that. Oh yes, I think I got that. Like I say, the Twitter and the Facebook I use more for projecting information outwards. If you want to get things through to me, the best way is usually the Reddit, but I do know I got that message. I am actually thinking, because the Facebook page, it's got a messenger on it, but we get a lot of spam on that. So I'm actually thinking of closing the messenger page on Facebook. So the Facebook is just a bulletin thing where you can comment directly on posts, like, share, and all that. But yeah, because I don't check the messenger much on that, because it gets full of spam, you know, bots and things. But yeah, no, thank you. Definitely, I will check on that, because that's a good point. And Math Rock, although I find Math Rock a very strange genre name, I don't think it necessarily is what people pretend it to be. It doesn't yield some very interesting results. So certainly anything that is under the pretense of being in that field, I would certainly be very interested in hearing. And I know you mentioned that after something quite interesting as well. So definitely I'll follow up on that. Harry, the live chat hides the like button on my phone, out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, I wonder if is that an Apple, is that an iPhone? Because if it's an iPhone, I expect that from them. If it's another company, then I have to learn which company I'm going to hate now. Harry, well, last weekend's live chat was cut very short because the Net Cafe who was out lost its internet. Yeah, it lost it for 12 hours. 12 hours, no internet. Total shit. Harry, yes. Oh, it's an iPhone. Okay, that's fine. I can hate iPhones. That's not a problem. I know that they're designed in that. Thank you, Hanoi water. We're not in Hanoi. We just kept the water bottle. I don't know why. It contains water. You can put water in it, and it still contains water. It's fine. No reason to throw it out. All right, so we're coming towards the end, guys. We've got about 3 minutes. So, as always, look, I really appreciate everyone commenting. So just get involved. Tell me if there's anything else you guys. Oh, another like. Thank you very much. Anything else you guys want me to mention? Anything else you want me to discuss? Otherwise, we're going to round it off. Just for anyone, I will tell that story one more time while you're thinking of it. Just for anyone who didn't know, when I left the last location, you guys might remember I did that video of us leaving the office for the last time, and just while I was doing that, I showed you that in front of the air conditioning control, the entire time there had been a kind of like a hentai anime, weirdly sexual banner hanging in front of the air conditioning remote, which was just the result of a weird trade that had gone through the office where someone was buying hentai for export and not all of it had been picked up, so some of it was left in the office. Anyway, I commented to the owner of the office, and he laughingly, as a result, when I arrived here, decided to leave me a present in the corner of the room. So this is my new roommate. Say hello. Let's think of a name for her, guys. If we can think of a name for my new roommate, that would be great. Let's think of a roommate name, please. So I'm off. See you later. Greetings from Indonesia. Thank you so much. Remember, you need to give us some suggestions for Indonesian World Tour Wednesday, though. Get on. You of all people need to help us. Get on the Reddit. There's a whole thing for the Indonesian World Tour Wednesdays. I forgot. I should have mentioned that to you earlier. More suggestions. Thank you. Harry, fan service alert. Yeah, I'm all about the fan service. I believe that we should serve our fans well. Yes. Oh, just a little information in case you guys are wondering. James will be coming back in February. So I know it's a little while away, but the time will fly by, I'm sure. In about 4 months, maybe even less, we will have James back for a few more episodes. Obviously, by then, I imagine we'll have seen all of the episodes of his series, The Backer Binge. So I imagine we'll be filming more Backer Binge when he comes back. And we are going to be interestingly visiting a different location, a location that is very dear to me. Well, I might as well tell you, we're going to be going back to Hokkaido. And if you've been following the channel for a long time, you know that a lot of the first episodes of the channel were presented from Hokkaido. Since then, I've been traveling away from Hokkaido quite a lot, which is a shame. It is my favorite place in the world. I absolutely love it there. It's not the easiest place to live, but definitely a place that I just love to be there. I love the atmosphere, I love the feel of it, love the food, love the music industry there. It's not so much of an industry, but the whole way that music works in Hokkaido. So absolutely, I'm going to be ecstatic to go back there with James. We were just discussing that very recently, but I guess it's still not 100% confirmed. But yeah, the idea is that in February we're going to go and do a little February visit and hopefully bring you some more stuff from there. Anyway, yeah, we're rounding up now, so it's an hour and a half. So I'm going to call this one quits, if that's okay with you guys. Like I said, I gave you guys a chance to think of anything else you wanted to ask, but I think your silence on the matter confirms that I have done a wonderful job in presenting all of the facts. The main thing is thank you so much for visiting me here. Thank you so much for seeing the new place. Really appreciate, as always, that everyone's been involved and appreciate the conversation, the input, suggestions. My apologies about the slow flow of the videos. Again, it's been one of those tough phases, but we are getting on top of this. This is all leading to a very good new high ground for the channel. Okay, so I mean, it's been quite a long journey since going to Vietnam and then being there for basically being in Vietnam for 2 weeks and then being back and going to the internet cafes for 2 weeks, then another 2 weeks so I move into a new place. But it's going to be brilliant when we've got the new equipment and I'm set up here. So please stick with us. Anyway, as for here, feel better. Remember, more beer and canned coffees to self-medicate your cold. Harry, I couldn't agree more, sir. I couldn't agree more. That is exactly what I intend to be doing. And I am well set up with a nice selection of alcoholic beverages that I can choose from, including the wonderfully named Black Shot. Just why? I don't understand why that is what you would. First of all, it's 500 milliliters. It's not a shot, nowhere near. And black, well, it's cola. It's cola with vodka. What other color is it going to be? So it's a mixture of the obvious and the inaccurate. Fair enough. Anyway, thank you so much. Yeah, we're over the 1.5 hours, so I think you guys are all free to enjoy the rest of your days, evenings, nights, or whatever you're doing. Mornings, maybe. For now, from Japan, thank you so much for joining me here. And this is where we'll be from November, so any suggestions for a new location, please tell us. But otherwise, for now, ciao, ciao. End stream.